A very good evening to you and welcome to CoreTV News on this hour. I am Nena Nyama. President Muhammadu Buhari held a closed-door meeting with Senate President Bukola Saraki and other principal officers of the National Assembly. It was the first official meeting between the President and the Senate President since the inauguration of the National Assembly. Speaking after the meeting at the presidential villa, Senator Saraki said the discussion did not touch upon his trial at the Code of Conduct Tribunal.
Well, it was first an initiative of the President for the interaction between the leadership of the National Assembly and Mr. President. Being the first meeting and called on Bell, it was a very useful session because, as you know, this kind of interaction helps in ensuring smooth relationship between the two arms of government. We discussed a number of issues, some of the plans, some of the works we have for us. And the general commitment is that, yes, the National Assembly has legislators from different parts of the different parties, but now we're representing Nigeria and we have a common goal to see that we work together for the interests of the general cause of Nigeria as a whole.
Senate President Bukola Saraki has directed the Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions to treat all petitions against ministerial nominees before Tuesday, October 13. This is after the Senate formally received a petition from some groups in Kaduna against the nomination of a special advisor to the UN Secretary General Amina Ibrahim for a cabinet position. The petition, which is the second received in as many days, was delivered by Senator Danjuma Allah, representing Kaduna South. 16 people have died and 10 others injured in multiple explosions on Wednesday morning in Damaturu, Yobe State capital. Executive Secretary, State Emergency Management Agency Musa Idi confirmed the story to newsmen in Damaturu on Wednesday. The morning explosions took place around Ministry of Housing Quarters and Buhari Housing Estate in Damaturu. Normalcy has since returned to the state capital as schools opened, while workers and other residents have resumed their normal businesses.
Zana Zakaria Estate along Gujuba Road, where a Sababa went into a Fulani hut and gathered the Fulani settlers there, and the bomb was detonated, killing 10 of the Fulani villagers and the Sabamba himself. The second and third attack took place within Buhari Estate, also in Damaturu. Unfortunately, a young man actually made an attempt to stop one of the side bombers, who actually was bearing a rifle and also had bombs all over his body. So in an attempt to disarm the man, the two of them died together. The name of the young man is Azan Muhammad Amagun, 19-year-old undergraduate of Yobe State University. The third one took place at a shop, within the same Buhari Estate, whereby the suicide bomber came in a bicycle and pretended to be a customer of the shop, approached the shop owners, and before you know it, the bomb went off and 4 people died in that instance. So we have 18 number of people dead, unfortunately, and we also have 8 people critically injured who are taking treatment as I'm speaking with you now at the General Hospital Damaturu.
Actually, what really happened in this early in the morning, the late child is my own son. So early in the morning, we had 2 sounds of heavy bomb. When we heard that sound, he said, "Let him come out and check whether is something going on wrong or nothing, something like that." He just came out. Immediately as he came out, he saw one suicide bomber approaching him. So in the result of to stopping the suicide bomber, so unfortunately the boy, he just grabbed the suicide bomber. So the thing just exploded. So that's what actually happened.
Boko Haram has reaffirmed its allegiance to the Islamic State and its leader, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, in a new video. It also maintained that the group is still under the leadership of Abu Bakr Shekau, who has not appeared in the video since February. The video shows the person speaking a mixture of Hausa and Arabic and denying recent claims by the Nigerian military that some members of Boko Haram had surrendered to the army. He also denied that the military had rescued a number of women and children abducted by the insurgents. The insurgents also claimed that the army is now resorting to a media campaign after failing to make any impact on the battlefront. Nigerian military is, however, yet to speak on the latest video. Meanwhile, the military says troops have arrested 3 men it described as Boko Haram collaborators in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital. In a series of tweets, the military authorities noted that the arrests were made possible as a result of vital information extracted from one Boko Haram financier who was arrested last week. The military maintained that the arrested terrorists are making useful statements and giving more insights into the activities of the terrorists and their collaborators. The 3 arrested collaborators are Jikana Goni, age 29, Musa Alaji Modu, age 37, and 40-year-old Abanana Alajial from Hausari Ward, Maiduguri. The Chief of Defense Staff, Gabriel Olunishakin, says the military is re-strategizing towards winning the war against Boko Haram and meeting the December 2015 deadline given to the military to end insurgency in the country. Olunishakin, who made his remark during his tour of military formations and units in Rivers State, explained that his visit to the state is aimed at ascertaining the level of preparedness of troops to fight the current threat to national security. He pointed out that measures are being put in place to improve military tactics so as to enable Nigerian troops perform better during operations against Boko Haram and other threats to security. Olonishakin also condoled with families of the 7 soldiers who lost their lives during the gun battle with members of the Boko Haram sect on Tuesday in Damaturu, Yobe State, promising that the military is on top of the situation to forestall any recurrence of the incident. The CDS also visited the 97th Special Operations Group Air Force Base, Port Harcourt, with the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, and other security chiefs, where he had a meeting with security personnel. Former Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi says the national leader of the All Progressive Congress, Bola Tinubu, has no problem with the first batch of ministerial nominees. This is contrary to suggestions that the party leader is not comfortable with the nomination of Fayemi and another former governor, Babatunde Fashola. The ministerial nominee spoke at the APC's National Secretariat in Abuja.
The extent that I was not told by the president that I was going to be on his list, yes, it came as a surprise. The president is a surprise master. Let me put it that way. He didn't tell anyone, to the best of my knowledge, and I would have thought that I was in a vantage position to even know more than others. I was with him for 5 days before then in New York at the United Nations General Assembly, and he never uttered a word about his list to me, nor to anyone else. And we came back to Nigeria together. I was with him until about 4 p.m. on the evening he submitted the list to the President of the Senate. I still did not have any clue anything was going to happen. So to that extent, yes, I was surprised, pleasantly surprised.
It's not the same. The inclusion of the name of the former governor of Ekiti State, Kayode Fayemi, on the ministerial list has led to jubilation by party members in the state, with many saying it is a development that will help in reviving the party in the state. Our correspondent Rashid has more in his report from Ekiti.
These party faithfuls have converged on the state secretariat of the All Progressives Congress in Ekiti, hoping to hear the name of former Governor Kayode Fayemi amongst the ministerial nominees. With the opening of the envelope containing the names by Senate President Bukola Saraki, the wait seems over, and it was jubilation galore as Fayemi's name was announced. For these party officials, Fayemi's nomination is God-sent and will strengthen the anti-corruption drive of Buhari administration.
In the area of proving integrity and maintaining law and order by ensuring total security for the citizenry of this country, and not only that, to ensure that corruption is wiped out of our socio-political system.
Other members expressed their joy in words.
It is a well-deserving one. It's a man that has worked assiduously for us in the Ekiti State. During his tenure in the administration of Ekiti State, he really worked very well. In his administration, we see all the good works that he did.
My beloved Oga, has been appointed as the Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I'm sure the President has seen diligence in him, they have seen commitment in him, they have seen honesty in him, probity, and everything good in him.
But for some other members, it's a return to the winning streak of the party in Ekiti State.
It's a victory for democracy, and this is what every member has been yearning for, to appoint a politician who can mobilize, who can develop the party in the state, who can make the party rise to the occasion of contesting an election and win.
With the screening of nominees yet to commence, the APC in Ekiti State can only hope that Fayemi scales through the Senate hurdles. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
We'll take a break now, return with more stories. Just stay with us.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water, and new TT.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly.
Talk to our husband that you should keep promise about what you said, and because people are watching you, another election is coming.
Also, some people will stand for Yoruba land. Will be strong man. You don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Glad to have you back. This is still CoreTV News on this hour. For more than news stories, join us on our social media platforms, facebook.com/CoreTV News, on Twitter at CoreTV News NG, and on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoreTV News. Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode has initiated moves to fulfill one of his campaign promises to illuminate all nooks and crannies of communities and adjoining boundaries in the state before the end of the year. This was made known today at a joint press briefing by the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, Public Works Corporation and Lagos State Electricity Board as a follow-up to the promise of Governor Ambode during the maiden town hall meeting held at Ayobo Ikpaja last Tuesday. The Senate is to send a 9-member delegation to condole with the family of late H.I.D. Awolowo. The federal lawmakers also paid tribute to the memory of the wife of the late Obafemi Awolowo. This was on the basis of a motion raised by the senator representing Ogun Central, Olanrewaju Tejosho. Some of the senators who spoke on the floor of the Senate described the late matriarch of the Awolowo family as an embodiment of knowledge and an astute politician. Senate President Bukola Saraki would also be a part of the delegation.
Although the late Mrs. Awolowo was a businesswoman of great repute, she was also an astute politician. The Senate is further aware that she stood in for her husband in the alliance formed between the National Convention of Nigerian Citizens and the Action Group called the United Progressive Grand Alliance, UPGA, while he was being tried and in jail, with the plans being that she will contest the elections, and if she won, will step down for her husband in a by-election. The Senate is further aware that to fulfill his dream of becoming president in the Second Republic, she toured the length and breadth of the country with her husband campaigning, coordinating the women's wing of the party, and was always present at all party caucuses and continued to fight for the cause of justice.
Mama was an epitome of womanhood, and she was indeed a great woman. Her appellation as the jewel of inestimable value is not difficult to place because she was detribalized and she loved everyone, including men who milled around her for wisdom and knowledge.
Because the great thing was long after the death of our husband, the statesman, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, she continued to promote his visions and cause for a strong and united Southwest Nigeria and advancement of humanity. We thank the Almighty God for her remarkable, illustrious, and celebrated life, and commiserate with the good people of Ogun State, our family, entire Yoruba land, and Nigeria at large. May the Almighty God grant her eternal rest. Amen.
Residents of Kaduna State are still counting the cost of the recent flooding that displaced over 1 million people and damaged over 30,000 houses. Many of them are also worried that the state's government is not showing enough concern about the plight of affected persons. Our correspondent Amina Nebi has more in this report presented from our studios.
According to residents of Kaduna State, the state has been in the news for the wrong reasons. This has been because of the flash floods to affected areas including Kabala Costain, Hongwan Rimi Road, as well as several other communities along the riverbank. Residents of the affected area were seen on a daily basis evacuating some of their personal belongings which they could salvage. The state's government has promised to assist victims, but many of them are not impressed. They complained the relief materials have not reached many of the people in the affected areas.
The water, kept coming, and there was fears that, or there were fears that it could be dangerous because it was actually with currents. So we had to just live with my children, with my child and my daughter and my sister, and we were watching the water rising. We couldn't pick anything, so I had to go and stay with my parents' place. But unfortunately, I was expecting that it's happened on a Sunday. On a Monday, I was in the house. On a Tuesday, I was in the house trying to see whether the water will recede. But eventually, it didn't recede, except towards Tuesday at about 4, it started receding. As I speak, no one from SEMA. As I speak, no one from NEMA. As I speak, no one from either Red Cross or any organization, charged with responsibility of disaster that has visited Kudenda, where I live, to even see the level of damage or to assess the impact on individuals.
Responding to the allegations, the head of the State Emergency Management Agency, Ezekiel Babakarik, said the government has made the necessary arrangements to assist flood victims. He also wants the people to always abide by approved building plans and avoid flood-prone area.
At the moment, as we are talking, assessment is still going on. We instructed all the local government chairmen to bring their comprehensive reports of the level of the destructions in their various local government, and that is what we are still compiling. And the governor is still is ever ready to fulfill all the promises he has made concerning this. This agency is not a compensatory agency. We are just bringing intervention in order to bring succor to these people. And the governor himself pleaded with the national body, and they responded positively on the very day this issue happens, because looking at the extent of the damage, this thing affected 11 local governments.
The local authorities in one of the hardest hit areas say only a few wards were not affected.
Several communities, particularly those that live along the banks of River Kaduna, were affected. Particularly, we have Kabala Doki, Kabala Costain, we have Angwarimi, that's Gabasa Ward. We have Angwandosa was also affected. Lafingoza was also affected. In fact, out of the 12 wards, only about 5 were not directly affected.
For now, the government has a lot of work to do to convince residents as well as victims of the recent flood that it is prepared to assist them.
Where we go for another break and return with more stories and foreign and sports news. Just stay with us.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Glad to have you back on the foreign scene. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has ordered the police to prevent government ministers and Knesset members from entering Al-Aqsa Mosque compound. An official disclosed that the Prime Minister gave this directive during a security consultation last week, but yet to formally inform the cabinet ministers of his directive. Clashes have rocked the Jerusalem site in recent weeks amid a surge in tensions between Israelis and Palestinians. The Al-Aqsa compound is the third holiest site in Islam. It is located in East Jerusalem, which Israel annexed in 1967, in a move never recognized by the international community as part of its occupation of the West Bank. The White House has expressed deep concern about the escalating violence in the occupied West Bank and Jerusalem and urged Israelis and Palestinians to restore calm. And now to the Syria crisis. Russia has fired cruise missiles at targets in Syria on a major display of military power. Russia's defense minister Sergei Shoigu disclosed that the attacks were carried out with warships in the Caspian Sea. Russia says it is targeting the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant IC group, but at least some of its airstrikes have reportedly hit Western-backed armed groups. This is the first news of Russia using its navy in its Syria campaign since it began building up its military forces in Syria. The missiles flew nearly 1,500 kilometers over Iran and Iraq and struck Raqqa and Aleppo provinces in Syria's north and Idlib province in the northwest. Nigeria's goalkeeper Vincent Enyama says he's no longer a player with the Nigeria's senior football team, the Super Eagles. Enyama, who took to his Instagram page, Vinit2908, said he has served Nigeria's best while in the pitch and now has retired from active play with Eagles to focus on his club career. It will be recalled that the former Eagles captain was recently stripped of title by the Eagles coach Sandoz and handed over to CSKA Moscow forward Ahmed Musa following an altercation between them. Although Dolise has said a rift between him and Enyama has been sown, he insisted that his decision stripping the former Eagles captain was based on discipline. Super Eagles coach Sandoz has explained why he opted for a new captain for the team, a decision that ignited a serious quarrel between the coach and his goalkeeper on Tuesday in Belgium, where the Nigerian team are camping. Olise said he chose Ahmed Musa as the new captain. Olise emphasized Vincent Enyama has many times that he was retiring from the Super Eagles. The organizer of the Nigerian Sports Award has unveiled the top nominees for the 2015 edition, just as voting began on Wednesday to determine the eventual winners of the various categories. The organizer, Unmissable Incentives Limited, unveiled the nominees at a press conference in Lagos on Wednesday. Chairman of the award panel, Ikedi Isiguzo, explained that the top nominees emerged, having recorded highest frequency of nominations by the members of the public for their outstanding performances in the respective sports. Isiguzo reiterated that an athlete is only eligible to win the Nigerian Sports Award if members of the public nominate such person during the nomination phase for the award during the year of the award. And finally, FIFA's president Sepp Blatter has been relieved of his duty as FIFA president after he was banned from all footballing activity for 90 days and replaced by CAF head Issa Hayatou. FIFA announced that Blatter, alongside presidential candidate Michel Platini and General Secretary Jerome Valcke, had been suspended for 90 days following approval by the governing body's adjudicatory chamber of a recommendation made by the organization's ethics committee. Those sanctions can be extended by up to 4 to 5 days, which would effectively end Blatter's reign over world football, with a FIFA Congress where a replacement will be chosen scheduled for February 26 next year. The investigation into Blatter's conduct relates allegations that he signed an unfavorable contract with the Caribbean Football Union in 2005, one that market experts claim handed over World Cup television rights for a fraction of the market's value. And that's it on CoreTV News in this hour. Thank you so very much for watching. I am Nena Nyama. Good evening.